Hello everybody, I'm Hunter Black Luna, and welcome to Let's Play Prison Architect. This is a strategy game, real-time with pause, that charges you, the player, with planning, building, staffing, maintaining, and running your own private prison. It's kind of like Papers, Please, in that the concept sounds super unappealing to a normal person if you just describe it to them cold turkey, but but also like Papers, Please, it's very well done. Very cool. I bought this game just a little while back. I've been watching videos about it for a while. The price point was always kind of a sticky point for me, but Steam sales. It's in early access, and let's just get right to it. Also, as a note, I'm not starting with the default amount of money. I sold my previous prison, which was the first one I did, and got some bank, and that's kind of a new game plus mechanic. And I'm really excited. I genuinely love this game, so I hope the enthusiasm helps with the LP. And let's get right to it. The first thing you should do as a new player is to read the CEO's letter, and he'll tell you what's what. Feel free to pause and read this if you want. I have already read it. I'm not saying I know everything, but I'm pretty good. So we start out with a total lack of stuff. And our intrepid workmen will come here, and we have supplies that come in, and we have to take this land and turn it into a functional, safe prison. And I've decided we're going to go with max security only prisoners rather than medium or low security prisoners because more challenge, more interest, hopefully. Hopefully it's worth the wait. I kind of understand. If I were to describe how to play this game, it would be it's needs-based gameplay, and you'll see what I mean as we go on, but let's get into it. Also, I'm going to minimize pausing. Right now we don't got no prisoners, obviously, so we basically have all the time in the world to get things going, to get things ready, and we are going to take advantage of that. We're not going to rush things, especially with this extra money. Use the planning mode, and just... if you've seen the things I've done on RimWorld or RimWorld in general, this may look familiar. They share a certain visual style. Basically, we need... Alright, let's get started with the planning on how to lay it out. And once the initial planning is done, once I hit unpause, I'm not going to pause very much. I'm just going to let it run. Because gameplay, when it's paused, Okay, so here we have our storage and our garbage areas. That's basically they're just here to be a starting area. Here's the enclosure, and we have a large area with which to build. Let's just get started. I want to build something that it has a cool design and isn't just functional. What we need from a front entrance is the ability to accommodate some serious volume. That means a double wide door. And this, I believe that in a prison, you should have literally one way out of the prison itself. Like, it should be all enclosed. Like, you can have an open prison, indoors, outdoors, you know, whatever. However, the entire thing should only be enterable from a single point. That's how I feel about it. And we could have like a perimeter wall, just for instance. I need a cough. Note to self, don't let's play while your voice is weird. Just for instance, let's just say we enclosed our like deliveries area here. And let's say these walls are fencing. We could have a perimeter wall that literally just runs all the way up here. And I picked a large land area to start out with because, I mean, come on. That's how we roll on this channel. Oh, the planning mode is so handy. It's a little awkward. There's some interface issues and some things with this game, but it is in early access, which doesn't exempt it from criticism, as we know from Jim fucking Sterling's son, but it is an excellent game right now. It's an excellent game in its own right. So we lay out a perimeter, and shit, we could even get working on the perimeter first, just for crazy cuz. Since we effectively have unlimited time, we have a positive daily cash flow from, Yeah, we can't really have reports or anything yet. We don't actually know things. We have a positive daily cash flow. We have tons of bank. And we have absolutely no rush to start. We could just, we could even go one better than regular fencing. Although it would be intensely costly. Like, I don't think we could actually afford to do a perimeter wall across the whole thing. Well, that's a good start. Okay. Fencing used to be free in previous versions of the game. Now it's not, but it is hyper cheap compared to anything else, and it stops prisoners. So we are going to order a giant perimeter fence to start out with, and we'll see the way things work. And after we start working on this, also if you hear weirdness in my voice, that's my new headset. I had to replace the old one because it broke in like 4 months, and I'm like, I'll get a wireless headset from, you know, Logitech again. And it's not a very good actual audio device in terms of input or outputs, but I'm hoping it'll last longer, so that I will continue to be burned by... Okay, now let's get started. And we're just gonna... Let's just watch how it unfolds, and you guys will see as soon as we give the order, the workmen go. And in standard speed, it's pretty much... It's not realistic speed. Time is going past in minutes. But it's a reasonable pace. And so it is going to take forever for them to do the perimeter, but that's okay. We can lay out the rest of the... I'm probably going to call it a fortress and a factory at some points, because old habits die hard. Okay, here will be the entranceway to our glorious prison. This will be the exact one way you can get in or out of the prison. We'll have a double door here. Double door here. From there, what we do really depends on everything. Well, actually, it's really just whatever we want to do. So, for instance, and the question is, do we want an indoor or an outdoor prison? If I want an outdoor prison, by what I mean is like, we could have distinct buildings that serve different purposes, or we could have it so that it's essentially one big building that is interconnected, and basically an interior space. I kind of like the interconnected prison idea, especially for like a maximum security thing, which is what we'll be rolling for. And since I've done one of these before, I sort of know what I'm doing, kind of, not even close. But what we want to do, perhaps the staff area will be... Oh, they're going both ways. It really is going to take them forever. I'm not going to make you watch all this. I'm just pondering the prison design, because when presented with a wealth of choices, I sometimes tend to just freeze up. So I'm going to check a few things real quick. Yeah, I think the first thing we'll focus on is planning an administrative area for the people who run the prison but are not regular staff, or the prison staff, the workers, the cooks, especially the administrators over here. We need an administration area that's kind of near the exit, just in case, and just for convenience sake. I mean, honestly, they could be anywhere, and they don't go in or out very much, but it just seems right to have them there. And we know that, or I know, that an office, an actual like office space, needs to be 4x4 interior, which means 5x5 meters all inclusive. So this is the minimum space you need. That's not much. That's... Wait a second. I'm an idiot. That's 3 meters interior. We need... Yeah, Yeah, 5 by 5. So, I am the biggest idiot ever. Welcome to this entire series, by the way. What the fuck? What's happening? Okay, this is 5 meters by 5 meters interior, so 7 meters all-inclusive is the smallest office space we can have. I don't really want to go the smallest. I mean, they don't need the room. They don't even get, like... It's not like nobles in Dwarf Fortress where they will get pissy if their room isn't good enough. We could even plot this out right here. With, of course, a hallway that... The hallway being 3 wide probably is not necessary, but it will... That's not even. Hey, you know what? Looking good. Some of you have doubtless heard of Prison Architect or seen videos before, some of you have not. Many great Let's Players have done series on it over time. We can seriously take our time, guys. They are not going... We're not going anywhere fast, let's put it that way. 4 regular offices, and there's various special things that need their own special snowflake things. But, okay, we are going to plan a staff office area for them to rest when they're tired, which is mechanically important, like it gives you a gameplay advantage. It's kind of important. Staff area that's kind of... Which, again, doesn't need to be big. But, I mean, why not? Cash flow isn't really daily, it's just kind of at certain points. Also, you'll notice this. Don't worry about this yet. Don't worry about regimes. Office space. As you can see, I want a little interior bit here that kind of... And this honestly could look any... I could make it in the shape of a giant penis, and as long as it fits the requirements, I mean, shine on. I'm not gonna do that, probably, unless I do it by accident. Does this look like a... Okay, never mind. I am totally wigging out at the moment. Let me think. Because part of the idea is, the staff area, you want to keep this sort of secluded from any, say, prisoners that might... So actually, what we could do is set up sort of an airlock system. It would only need to be 1 wide, because of reasons, you'll see. This isn't even, though. Is that even? Welcome to... Yes, this is one of those simulation games where you wig out endlessly about whether things are even or not. Okay, look. There. There, we win. This airlock system will let us let in good people and keep prisoners out, because otherwise they could get various forms of contraband in, and that's bad. Let's make this a little bigger just because we can. And there'll be ways around it, and we can allot the office space really any way we feel like it. And for right now, honestly, this should be fine. I'm really hoping this doesn't sound terrible. I'm hearing some terrible noises from the headset, and I'm hoping that's just on my end, which is, you know, it's miserable, but I can deal with it. I'd rather not the content of my videos were affected. I mean, I'm already crap enough as it is. And the question we have to ask is, how many officers will we need? We need one for a warden, a chief of security, a foreman. The psychologist kind of needs his own thing, because he'll need to be visited by prisoners in order to be kind of effective at his job. So really we need 5 offices. 5, you know, administration level off. You know what? Let's do something. A bold plan, I know. Let's give the warden a super kick-ass office, relatively speaking. Needs to be at least 5. We will make it 5 by... Why not do all this space? I mean, we could even make it like... No, that wouldn't fulfill the requirement. And it would make it more penis-like. Why shouldn't the warden get a... This is obscenely excessive. We could even... Instead do something like this. 5 by 8, which is still a very nice office. It's not even, but fuck it. We could have, obviously this will be the staff room, this will be the warden's room. And if we wanted to be super methodical, we could mark out where the doors will be. These will all be staff doors. They don't need to be because it'll be interior, but it will make it slightly harder for certain bad things to happen. Let's just put it that way. And then up here we could have other non-prisoner things, like we could plan out a security area and an area where the armory will eventually be. All sorts of fun. By the way, really don't let the prisoners into the armory. Yeah, there's my wisdom for the day. Really, no. And obviously this all has to be connected, but it can be connected super easily. Game's still going. We are... Let's call it halfway done with the fence. Also, right now, we have prisoner intake and categories. We only want max sec. None are available right now. I think some will become available if we wait. But we'll see. I wonder... This episode's probably just going to be planning out the basics. And the next episode might be when we actually go. I sort of don't like when Let's Players do that. And yet we may end up doing it. Because I'm just that way. Why not the holding cell down here? Or like a storage area down here. Storage area here seems reasonable. We could make a connection here to make it more convenient. But that would also mean bad things would happen. Let's put it that way. So this will be a freaking massive 10 by 10 storage area. We'll just make the door here. We could airlock everything if we wanted, but I really don't think that regular storage will need it. You might be asking why I have this space here between... I don't know. I don't have a reason. We could add things to make it look cool, like bits here that serve no function except aesthetics to make it look like an entrance hall or something. And we will do stuff like that. But for right now, let's just plot out. The administration area is an important one to have early, because without things like a warden, bad times are happening. And I will in fact demonstrate how we make a building. And then after that I may cut out some of this. And we could use bricks or concrete. It doesn't really matter. They're kind of equivalent. But how you make buildings is you actually make like foundations for them. So let's do the entranceway as a example of here. We lay out the thing and they will literally make like foundations and things. And then from that we can expand it. Let's do this to make sure. And if you make multiple foundations together, the game will usually figure out what you want and do it. It's usually okay about that. And as you can see, we ordered for more materials. And our workmen are kind of busy at the moment. I'm guessing they will try to complete the fencing, or at least most of it, before they move on to the other work. So giving them more work at this point could be called rather point. Although you see they're doing it. It's been 20 minutes. Dear God. Of course we want foundations here. Laying multiple foundations like this together, rather than just one big herpaderp building, can have consequences. Like, stupid things will happen. But hopefully, we will be okay. Yeah, we'll be right back. Alright, the perimeter defense has been the perimeter fence has been completed. This guy got stuck on the exterior, so he's gonna have a long walk back. He's gonna have quite a walk. You can see we're getting down to the evening of our first day, and we've set up the perimeter and begun work on the admin building. The following, it's, you know, we are under time acceleration too. Anyhow, now we can see how people make... Alright, I'm ready to stop following. Now we can see how the actual foundationing... They literally... It's really cool. I think I love construction in this type of game. And prison architecture has a satisfying construction ability. I really fucking hope this all gets put together in a way that is not dumb. Because the game has weirdness about it. Also, I love watching it go in this speed. This is max speed right now. Alright, they've laid all the foundations, as far as I can see. Now, we can just... It needs an entrance before this is all kind of completed. Also, just to make sure things go in a way that's not stupid. Can't really do that. No, we're just gonna have to hope. No. You're kinda... It may be weird, you might not quite understand what I'm worried about, but when you see how this game behaves, you'll see. Anyhow, we'll do large jail doors here, because this is the main entrance to the entire prison. And right here we'll want an airlock of staff doors. Double doors leading to the warden, just because I can. And down here. And of course a staff door on the storage room. And after that's all placed, we should be able to finish some of these foundations, or they'll all like auto finish. Because they're not separate buildings quite yet. Like bam, that building is now complete. It is now a thing. It has lights pre-installed. It has... Well, you can see. I can probably take the planning... I wish I could take some parts of the planning tool. Although it auto removes the planning tool when you make walls there. There we go. So now it's a big building. Which sounds like the most obvious thing you've ever heard in your life. That's because it is. We're going to need to wire up utilities too. No, route. Failed one time. And then we just gave up. Work continues in the night. I'm thinking utilities will be down here, at least for the start. You need power and you need water. There's certain places for things to go, but really, you'll be okay. Water pump station, there we go. That's interesting. I wonder why it's like that. Whatever, that's okay. What are those put down? We can start wiring them. The way utilities works, you could probably just see. But we're gonna start running us some cable. That should meet our needs, at least for this moment. Obviously there will be more to come. They may end up doing the piping rather than the Jenny. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what they are doing. That's gonna look bad. Well, these walls got finished in a way that is acceptable, so that's good. Yeah, here we go. Should kick right in. Bam. And he saith, "Let there be light." This is all very basic stuff so far, and once we get some of this stuff down, I am very likely to begin time skipping. And to complete the wall, complete the ceiling, when we do this, we'll have an area that is not able to be walked out of, which, as you may imagine, important for a prison. Even though most of the time you'll be focusing on the needs of your prisoners, you really got to keep them under control too, in various ways. There we go. The way power works in this game is actually unlike anything I've seen before. Capacitors cost 1,000 and double the output of a generator. We'll put it this way, power generator makes like 50. Capacitor lets it make another 50, and then another 50, and then another 50. And you can have them in a giant thing around the power station. But you can't have multiple power stations on the same grid. You need like multiple lines if you go past your max capacity. Found that out the hard way. Also, don't have blackouts in your maximum security super secure prison. Also an important lesson in life. Alright, that'll just start us out for a basic thing. And run the power line down here to the water pump. And let's get started on other things. I guess we could designate this right away as storage. There we go. Also, fun fact about starting in a forested area, workers will bring stuff that can be harvested for money to the storage area rather than doing what you want. There is a simple solution to that, however. Enable the sell objects thing and sell the shit for cash. You can't sell bad things. Like, you can't sell things you wouldn't want to. Let me put it like that. Only actual, like, sellable items, like loot, sort of. But anyhow, down there, way down there, I am currently moving around because we ended up knocking down some trees to make our perimeter defense. It's a defensive fence, so I guess either works. Right now and you just put interior walls. So the sort of foundations, the way the game handles basic strategy game things is something to get used to. Also, I've told them to dismantle one of these doors. I will deal with the fact that it is asymmetrical. We can block out, and alright, the staff room, which is where they can rest and recuperate. I actually know about this game as opposed to many times where I don't know certain things. So I can offer some advice. I'm not exactly the biggest expert in the universe, but it's like, see, if I hover over actual things in our storage, like lights and staff doors and stuff, you can't just sell that accidentally. That'd be pretty bad. These areas don't meet our minimum requirements, but that's because we need to put down stuff. For instance, couches, TVs. This needs wide sofas and a drink machine to be considered valid. Excuse me. I'm also going to set down a television and a pool table, because hey, sometimes you get bored. Oh man. Also, something to note is I'm doing things in a kind of weird way. Here's the grant screen, which functions like a quest thing. Actually, it's exactly like a quest thing. You do things, and you get money. You get an advance on the grant, and then when you complete it, you get more. And these objectives kind of scale. So right now we need a basic detention center, so we need the things that are necessary in order to function. We'll also do administration center, which we will not find difficult to do. Right now we can only have 2 grants, but it's a great way of pushing the player along in the right direction and giving them an extra boost of cash to help out. Because the standard amount is like 50,000, so we started with a bit of an edge, which is why I'm building a bit more grand than if you had a more limited budget to start out with. Also, this is something that may not be necessary at all, but which I like to do, is to put fencing around the utilities areas. Just in case. I mean, we don't want a prisoner messing things up like a jerk. I made it the wrong size. Relatively speaking. I mean, it doesn't actually matter. And just to top it off, of course, staff doors, so only members of our actual staff can get into the utilities area. I don't know, power and water just seems like something we should have a defense for. Also, what I tend to do for prisons is to have the exterior perimeter and then make them build another interior perimeter just for that little extra bit. And I think I know where that's going to be. Anyhow, we're getting to a slow start, but I mean, every game has a slow start. And hopefully, newcomers to the game will find this of interest. Our staff room is valid. That's the first valid thing we have so far. To make an office, what's nice is it will actually highlight it. The build menu will bring to the front the things you need. So we need 1 filing cabinet, but I gave him 2. He needs a nice office desk. Sometimes it can be hard to tell the facing of things, but you'll be fine. That's really all you need for an office. And staff don't actually have needs the same way prisoners do, so really they're kind of automata. Like they get tired, regular ones do, but for administrators, you really they need to exist. We'll give him a TV set as well in the corner, because TV's dope, yo. Oh my god, did I just... signs the Let's Player's brain is turning to mush, and we have prisoners available, since we kept the slider up. The game's like, clearly you want max security prisoners, which is true. Also, you can do manual flooring, which we will do. We'll make the staff area have nice wooden floors, which does cost. But we have a bit of the money to kick around. You can accidentally demolish walls by putting flooring down, so do watch that. But they'll handle it. There we go, just make the place look a little nicer, because, you know, we could even hire our warden right now. Bam! He will auto-claim one of the open offices. There was only one open office, so bam! Congratulations to us. The Warden unlocks many things that are super important. Like our regime, which is basically what the prisoners are doing at any given point. Obviously right now they're not doing anything because we don't have prisoners, but the Warden is the head honcho. It's good to have him. Although our cash flow has gone down because we're paying his salary as well as the salary of the workmen. The cash flow is like the balance, obviously. Weird. Things look weird to me for some reason. Okay. What next? Alright. Using our Warden, we can also... I've plotted out the interior perimeter. It's a bit away from this... It helps, again. I don't know if it's at all necessary, but it's one of those things that feels right. In this game, there's a lot of room for individuality in some ways, and just doing what you think is appropriate given the circumstances. Like giving the Warden a bigger office. There isn't actually a reason to do it at all. Okay, this is your research screen, which is the bureaucracy. The Warden can unlock stuff, and stuff is good. And obviously you want these things, and you unlock officials, and they research the various things that you want, and you really want them. So we're going to start unlocking finance, which is part of our goal for the Administration Center grant, so let's follow along there. He'll now be researching it. There's a good chap. And while they're doing the other fence, also there will be no way to get into this middle bit. That will just be a place that is not gone to. We may need to let the workers out if they block themselves in like idiots, because they're better about it than Dwarf Fortress workers, but only, you know, only by a bit. Okie dokie, so now we want other things. From the entrance outwards, the way we want to do it. See, actually what I want is a 3-wide hallway that goes places. But this isn't a 3-wide thing, it's a 2-wide thing, so you kind of have to make sense. So like this, and then so now that you have your proper 3-wide hallway, and what I like to do is put a certain type of tile down the middle. It's just for style points. But this will be the main hallway that leads into, and basically the only real rule about placements that I would advocate to someone who's starting out is put your cell blocks where your prisoners actually have cells as close to the middle of your map as possible, because then it will be harder for them to dig out. And oh, they do. They get like improvised tools, spoons, pickaxes, you know, whatever they can obtain. Prisoners are very clever. Humans are incredibly inventive when they're placed in adverse situations like captivity. So we need to be equally inventive if we're going to keep a lid on these guys. Also, we do not want this intake yet, but I'm hoping having the slider put over will have a good effect. The fence is slightly smaller, so they should take slightly less time, but we'll see. The next goal should be our basic detention center, which is we want a holding cell, which is where prisoners go when they don't have cells. That's literally it. You're literally Hitler. Okay. So let's say, for planning's sake, we have this airlock, which probably would have been smarter to do it another way. But here's the entrance, and storage room down here, so we can have a hallway that's kind of like this. Here's the pathway down to the storage, and of course this will go further down. Then there's these things, and also remember, things aren't permanent in this game. You can move them around, you can change them. You can kind of experiment with what works. That was the wrong tool. Fortunately, it doesn't matter, as do misclicks. If I knew how to do math, I'd be much better at planning out in this game. Such is life. And I mean, I am not the sort of person to plan out every detail before I do it. Especially not on camera. Although I do worry and dither a lot if you've seen my other Let's Plays. But... this space is shaping up. I bet we could put some things here, like... the holding cell should probably be near the entrance as well. Let's block out... this is kind of big for a holding cell. Although if you want it to be able to house many prisoners, it should probably be that way. Here we have a 6x8, 6x7 holding cell that should be fine. Door here, and you know, toilets and a bench. That way prisoners can maybe put something in here for them to be entertained, but that's the holding cell, and the holding cell can be anywhere. Anything can be anywhere. I'll keep emphasizing that point. Holding cell, and this could be like a... we'll make this a storage space for exports, things we're going to sell later, which doesn't need to be any place in particular. It's just... it doesn't even have requirements. It just needs to be like, well, look, we can designate exports has no room it doesn't even need to be actually a room. It can just be a bit on the ground like these things are. Garbage deliveries, storage, but we'll make it a room so the prisoners can steal from it. I sort of like how things are going so far. My god, we're taking forever on this. I don't know if we can finish Basic Detention Center in this video at the rate I'm going. I also don't know what this will be, but I'll block it out. There's always, we could make it, yeah, we'll make this, this will be the parole office thing. You'll see. Parole is important. Really. Might seem like I'm getting ahead of myself, but I want this prison to be different than the last one, where I kind of built things for necessity's sake when it was necessary. I'm the best talker ever. Trying to think. Sell these off for just a bit more cash. I will, and again, we have all this space to play with, and the prisoner blocks, I want to build them in the middle, but in a way that is expandable, but interior, which is either going to need careful planning, or it's going to look terrible. So I'll let you guess which one our prison's going to be. Let's just say, for the sake of nobody in particular, continue out to here, and I'll think things over again for a while. I do quite enjoy how it looks like that guy who was following behind. He was just kind of pivoting in place while everyone else was doing their job. So it was kind of like that guy at work who is following along and pretending to help, but he's just kind of fucking about for a while. That'd be interesting to have a game where your like your the characters you control in like a strategy game do that sort of malingering stuff. I've laid out the security area and the future armory. We can't have that yet. It's so weird knowing all this shit in advance. I can guarantee you though, it won't be a breeze. Hopefully. If it is a breeze, we'll figure something out. I would have gone into this blind, but it would have probably been a painful experience. Maybe. But the genie's out of the bottle now. We can't undo what's been done. What would be really painful is if I accidentally allowed the intake to go through rather than closing off. Let's do that. Because then we would be in official prison mode with no accommodations whatsoever. Or chefs or guards. Well, I mean, that part could be fixed easily. Bam! And it works as it usually works. Kinda. You hope. You pray and cry to yourself and say, please, prison architect, please work. Just work. Why? Anyhow, might as well run the conduits in the hallway. That is the most convenient option available. And up here we can just sort of do that. And it will probably get everything. We need an entrance to it, which we will make, of course. These are going to be jail doors, only guards. The regular security area will be a staff door so that other staff can come in and clean and whatnot. The armory could be a regular door as well, but we're going to make it a jail door cause yeah. And it will just be an empty room at first, but it'll be the armory in our hearts. The arsenal of freedom. What are my guys doing right at this moment? Actually, you can check that if you're ever curious. Right. Yes. They're currently... Oh, they're doing stuff. Not to worry. Also, all the guys are randomly generated, and... like for guards, prisoners, even the staff, who you'd think would just be one generic thing. No, they're different. That's really cool. There's many things about this game that are cool, and I will be pointing them out as I play, because I'm not shy about my admiration for this. I'm really glad I was finally able to pick it up. Maybe next time we'll set up the actual holding facilities and get, you know, prisoners and stuff. That might be a good way to transition out. I'll set up the rest of this, and next time we'll start building the actual accommodations for our prisoners in this prison. Sounds like a plan? Yeah. So, on behalf of me, the warden of this very unfinished prison, hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of planning and plotting and building and laying out some of the groundwork. And I'll see you guys next time. Sometimes I worry that a series is going to go too well and nothing's going to happen, it's going to be boring and well planned out. Sometimes I worry that I'm a total fuck-up scrub lord like in Kerbal Space Program, and that no one will want to watch it because I'm such a huge failure. It's almost like anxiety isn't a rational response most of the time. It's almost like it's irrational fears niggling at your mind. Until finally, one day, you do something unfortunate and you end up in a prison of your own mind. By the way, this is the kind of floor I like for the hallways.